After my trip to Hong Kong, I was in the mood to shove myself on another flying butt pill once more. This time to a place I always wanted to go, Philadelphia. I visited all the other great American cities, except Boston, and Philadelphia was one I just had to check off my list. So I begin this vlog in this room apparently. Alright, so I'm at my house in California, and before I begin this vlog, I should point out that I made a few improvements since my last vlog to Hong Kong. Number one, I switched to a wide-angle lens, which I'm using right now, so my face is not entirely shoved into the camera like this. Second, I'm using a lav mic instead of the shotgun mic I use. Oh, and another thing about a lav mic, I can move the camera around and I don't have to readjust the mic. I can point it wherever, commentate, and the audio won't change in quality. So, some of you are thinking, why are you vlogging the night before? I'm catching a red-eye to Philly while connecting in Dallas. Since the majority of my money was spent on the Hong Kong trip, I had to take a few budget cuts. For example, I'm just taking a plain old Uber to the airport, no fancy Mercedes-Benz, and the seats I'm flying in don't fold flat to a bed, which could really be useful on a red-eye flight. But enough complaining, I gotta resume packing. Gotta say, I'm loving this new wide-angle lens. It makes everything look so cinematic and Kubrick-like. I ordered myself a breakfast burrito for dinner because to hell with logic. Oh, by the way, to hell with logic is InfoWars' new slogan. I also picked the food truck restaurant for this. Mexican Coke. This stuff is great mainly because it's made with real sugar. Mr. President, you build that wall, you kiss this thing goodbye. It'll make your weekends of drinking soda and watching cable news a little more easier on you. With my stomach full and my conservative viewers unsubscribing, because God forbid we should still have mutual respect for each other despite our differences in opinions, I made my way to the gate. And soon enough, it was time to board my flight to Dallas. And let me tell you, these were some really nice first-class seats. Nice and cozy with my own personal TV screen, and this time, I had an air nozzle. Now all I have to do is sit back and relax. Yeah, American Airlines just suddenly dropped the ball on me. For whatever reasons, the pilots for the plane I was originally going to take didn't show up for some reason. And with no pilots, we all had to deboard the plane. But all's not that bad. I was able to book a direct flight to Philly, and I still kept my first class ticket. Gonna take this super long, shining light hallway to my next flight. And I just found out that my bag may not make it when I get there. I guess I'm gonna have to fight with baggage department when I get to Philadelphia. So this is what an abandoned airport's like. I could spend the night at a hotel, but this is going to have to be my hotel for now. So I found a spot and sleep the sleep of a modern, frustrated air traveler. Unfortunately, my misery did not end there. Remember Eric Garcetti from my last travel vlog? Well, he kept chiming in every 10 minutes to welcome people to Los Angeles. Along with an announcer lady who keeps going, "Never leave your luggage unattended," and tried dealing with those earworms over and over and over again, to the point where you can barely get any shut-eye. Now, I didn't record any footage of me boarding my new plane, because I was just pretty much in full effort mode, and I pretty much slept for about a good chunk of the journey. It wouldn't be too bad, except I slept right through breakfast service, and all they had left was just oatmeal. And if you think oatmeal is bland now, try having it on an airplane. Fortunately, my troubles began to disappear as soon as I touched down in Philly. I made it to Philly, but sadly all is not well. You see, my bag never made it onto the new flight I was transferred to. So I have to go to the lost luggage and take care of that. I better learn how to face it. It's gone. What went wrong? Actually, I do know. The pilots flaked on me at the last minute, causing this whole fiasco.
She's gone. I better learn how to face it. She's gone. I pay the devil to replace her. She's gone. And she's gone. What went wrong?
Okay, I just checked into my hotel. Everything went swimmingly, and they even gave me a fresh cookie. I need to stay with these guys more often. Now for a little room service and chill. The next day, I headed out to one of our nation's most famous monuments, Independence Hall. That there is Independence Hall, where the Constitution was signed. You know, the Constitution, that thing your Facebook friend seems to be an expert in every time something doesn't go his or her way politically. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abiding the freedom of speech or the press, the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Apparently, Philly doesn't have a problem putting expensive plasma TV screens out here in the open. You know, the best part about coming to Philly in the middle of February is that there isn't a lot of tourists here. And with no tourists, that means shorter lines, and I get really awesome shots. Mind you, it is a bit on the cold side, so bear that in mind. Damn, Ben Franklin got some hot legs on him. And not before long, it was time for me to enter Independence Hall. And I'm gonna be honest, I forgot a lot of what my tour guide said. All you need to know is, this is where shit got done before it moved to Washington, D.C. I then head to the Liberty Bell exhibit right next door, a long-standing symbol for freedom, patriotism, and boy did I mistime this one. Well, this is awkward and depressing. Watch this. There we go. So I'm sitting here in a park not that far from Independence Hall, and I'm about to fly my drone, but I had to do a quick firmware update on it. And what it's doing right now, as I'm waiting, I'm smelling this really awful smell of horse poop. Parked right outside Independence Hall are a bunch of horse-drawn carriages, and I hate to sound like a neckbeard, but I just want to let my future wife know, if we're going to get married, we're not doing no horse buggy thing. Okay, there is nothing romantic about the smell of horse poop. Big, giant, elaborate cake, sure. Diamond the size of a kiwi fruit, sure. But no horse-drawn buggy, okay? Trust me, you get a whiff of that, and you'd be agreeing with me. Anyway, here's some of that pretty drone footage I took. Okay, so I'm on my way to... You knocking me, trash can! So I'm here at the Philadelphia Art Museum, but here's the thing. I'm not an art museum guy. I'm actually here for the Rocky statue. Unfortunately, my driver dropped me off in the wrong location. I tried to tell him to drop me off sooner or by the stairs, but he didn't really have a full grasp of English. Even in my own English-speaking country, I have a driver who does not have a full grasp of the English language. Oh boy, it's Hong Kong all over again. Finally made it. Here is the Rocky statue. Rocky Balboa is a proud hero of Philadelphia. Of course, everyone remembers this Oscar-worthy scene from the movie.
Thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
It's a nice song.
It's my favorite.
You're the greatest. See you, Sport.
See ya.
I swear, the Academy had their brains checked out on that. And maybe Sylvester Stallone, but still. And that behind me are the rocky stairs, which Rocky Balboa heroically climbed up. And I'm about to do the same. Okay, so it's not as easy as it seems. I probably should have drank raw eggs like he did in the movie. This is a list of countries my president insulted. Keep that up, Mr. President, and you won't be able to find anyone to replace Melania. Man, I'm going after Trump a lot in this video. I wonder if I'll be featured in one of his tweets.
Stupid fake chef CJR in cahoots with lying fake news. Sad. Should be more like apolitical Rosanna Benzini. Hashtag nerdy nummies. Hashtag Rosanna's a 10. Hashtag not as hot as Ivanka though.
And to my family in Lebanon who's watching, Philly is sending a little brotherly love towards you. Oh yeah, I'm half Lebanese. Probably should have told you that. It's a new day and I'm off to tour the US Mint. And there it is. All will be worth it if they offer free samples. But enough chit chat. Let's go. Bill Cipher, what the hell are you doing here? Hey Mueller.
It's Mueller, but continue.
I don't think Russia was the one who meddled in our elections. This is the famous love thing Philly's known for. Dedicated to those with a happy, healthy heart. Ironic thing is, Philly food clogs up your arteries really bad. To show you what I mean, I then went over to the Reading Terminal Market. It used to be an old train station. Now they serve all things artisanal and yummy. All this food is awesome, but I came to the Reading Terminal Market for one thing.
The next roast pork and beef. Home of the delicious and sexy roast pork sandwich. I'm gonna let this piece of food porn play on a little longer if you don't mind.
Roast pork, garlic sauteed broccoli rabe, dark provolone. Only travel noobs get the Philly cheesesteak when they come here. It's like unhealthy food and healthy food somehow merged together into a sandwich, creating awesome. Yeah, I'm so gonna make this at home. Keep your eyes peeled for that episode. As I was perusing the Reading Terminal Market, I came across this. Rick and Morty's Szechuan sauce. Or Swifty sauce. So I'm back at my hotel and I bought the Szechuan sauce, or the Swifty sauce. I'll try it for the first time. It's a little bit like teriyaki sauce. It's like spices and teriyaki sauce. No need to camp out at McDonald's or throw a temper tantrum. Just head down to the Reading Terminal Market, pick up a bottle of Swifty sauce. Now to wash down the flavor. And I came across this. Raw milk. Yep, raw milk. With cream on top. So basically you gotta shake it up if you want to drink it. I always wanted to try raw milk. I remember watching, was it Bizarre Foods? And Andrew Zimmern goes to a farm in Australia. Turns out this cheesemaker does not pasteurize his milk because it, quote, kills the flavor. So, let's see what this tastes like. Product safety advisory. Raw milk has not been pasteurized, therefore it may contain harmful bacteria that can cause serious illness in children, elderly people, and people with weak immune systems. I really need to read the warnings before I start drinking. Have a taste? Maybe slightly more flavorful than regular milk. I personally find no difference, at least with this brand. Maybe I'll try another brand of raw milk if I come across it, but pretty good. Here on 9th Street in Philly, home of the famous Italian market, and I gotta say, nothing seems to be open. It truly is like being in Italy.
It's Italy! The newspapers are reporting a miracle. Apparently, a statue of Mary moved her hand and said, "I just worked harder than 80% of your workforce."
Eventually, things did begin to pick up, so I had a nice look around. If you're sensitive to the sights of gore and whatnot, man up and get over your fears. Myself. While I was there, I also walked into some of the Italian stores. I checked out one that sold all kinds of different cured meats, even the creme de la creme, Hamoni Iberico, at $150 a pound! Cobblestone streets. They're one of our earliest roads and destroyer of ankles. Anyway, I'm in this part of town to get some ice cream. Because, once again, to hell with logic. Oh, and there it is. The Franklin Fountain.
I'm just gonna let the sexy slow-mo play.
The next day I hopped in an Uber and headed for the King of Prussia Mall, 26 miles from downtown Philly. Trust me, if it wasn't raining, I'd fly my drone around to show you how big this place is. Meh, Google Maps got me covered. Anyway, the reason why this mall is so big is that it started out as two separate malls, but then merged into one. And there definitely are some clues on the inside. Hell, this mall is so big, there are even 2 GameStops. And even a 3rd video game store. It's snowing already. I'm only like 25 miles away from my hotel. What could happen? I bought like $3 of candy, not that much. But they gave me free gummy bears. Why? Because it was their anniversary. Now, if American Airlines could do something like that, they still owe me for what happened Monday. After my shopping trip, it was time for me to head back to my hotel. Oh, and remember that snow from earlier? With a huge nor'easter, as the locals call it, and while New England got it pretty bad, Philadelphia was not safe from it. The snowfall was getting heavier and heavier, which meant visibility was a bit low, which meant I clenched my butt cheeks for dear life. But as me and my Lyft driver made our way down the 76, traffic slowed down to a crawl. At first, I thought it was just normal big city traffic, but later as I found out, that was totally not the case. The storm caused a tree to fall on top of a city bus, causing traffic in both directions to back up. I gotta tell you, my jaw dropped when I saw this. And I'm from a city where traffic accidents are pretty much the norm. Thankfully, the storm passed, and it was time for me to leave Philadelphia. What's going on? What's going on? What just happened? What just happened? I'll tell you what happened. Something went wrong with the jet engine and we had to return to the gate. We stayed on the tarmac for 2 to 3 hours, maybe even more. But eventually, they got it fixed and we made our way to Dallas. Okay, that's the end of my suffering, right? Unfortunately, the repairs took so long back at Philadelphia that I missed my original connecting flight to Los Angeles. Instead, they scheduled me on a flight leaving for Las Vegas, where then I'll be able to connect to LA. So yeah, you better believe I was pretty pissed. Okay, that's the end of my suffering, right? No! After some delay, we finally took off from Dallas to Las Vegas. And here's the thing, the plane that was going to take me from Vegas to LA was the same plane that brought me here to Vegas from Dallas. But guess what? Turns out this plane also had a problem. In this case, the rubber gaskets on the plane doors weren't sealing properly. So we had to wait for another plane to take us to LA. To say I was pissed was a bit of an understatement. And that's the end of my suffering, right? It actually was. I made it home safe and sound. But I wasn't quite done yet. I still had a bone to pick with American Airlines. So I sent them an email detailing all of my frustrations. They finally responded, they apologized, and they gave me a voucher for about $200. And that was my vlog to Philly. Don't worry, recipe videos will resume next week.